Greetings and salutations, my artsy friends. How is everyone today? So good, I hope. If you are brand new here, if you would like and follow Ann Corbiere-Scott Designs on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, I would greatly appreciate that. And then please ask to join our private Facebook group, Let's Get Artsy with Ann Corbiere-Scott. That's the only place that you can find my free printables. It's the only place where files can be posted. And so if there are printables that you would like to have access to, like the Super Bowl one that I'm working on right now, then you need to join the private Facebook group. But if not, you'll be missing out. Good morning, Aunt Mer. How are you this morning? So this morning we are going to, you know what, I was going to do some card creating, and you know what, I'm just feeling like painting today. So it's okay to just change things up, right? So I am going to paint on my Card Candy 2, and I'm going to use my my Crayola washable watercolors, because I want to show you that you can create with anything. Anything. There we go. Don't ever feel like you can't make art because you don't have the perfect supplies or whatever. You can make art with anything. So, I was just telling a friend the other day, you can make art with a ballpoint pen and a napkin. It doesn't matter, right? So I'm going to activate these watercolors by just getting some water in there. And remember, we need to let that water just kind of soak in there a little bit, kind of get all the juices flowing in our watercolors, right? And so I printed my art printable on watercolor paper this morning, but you know, you can print it on anything. You can print it on copy paper, you can print it on cardstock, you can do whatever you'd like. But I'm going to just paint this morning. I just want to paint for the sake of painting. And then I'm going to decide what I'm going to do with these pieces that I've painted after. So think about, my art printables can be used in lots of ways. So if you're not a card maker, you can use them in your art journaling, right? So we'll be doing some of that next week. So just paint them. Good morning, Nanette. How are you this morning? Hi, Vicky. So just paint them in a way that makes you happy. And then, you know, and then the rest will just kind of fall into place. Everybody make sure you have a drink this morning. We need to stay hydrated. Okay, so I'm feeling like, I want to start with, well, I think I want to start with this flower. I just, you know, in art journaling, how we love to, I am doing fine and dandy, Miss Nanette. We like to have layers, and in my cards, I like to have layers too. And so I'm feeling like this flower, because I already have the ledger, the vintage ledger that I drew it on. I already have that as my background. I'm feeling like I want to start with that one this morning. I don't know. Something's just telling me. So I've got a couple of, so I'm going to, you know, once that water is sitting on your watercolors, then you need to go in and just kind of move that water around, work it into the cake of watercolor, of color. And then you're going to get something really, look at that. So let's get just a little bit of this yellow going. Good morning, Sue. Right? Clean my brush. And now I'm going to come into this orange over here and do the same thing. I'm going to move that water that's been sitting on top of that pan of color around a little bit. And then I'm going to move it over here. Right? And I'm going to do some mixing right on my substrate. Right? I want that yellow and that orange to just mix really nicely. Now I'm going to come back with, I rinsed my brush, and I'm going to come back and come back with just a wet brush and just kind of move that around. I just am going for kind of a really free, organic vibe this morning. So because I might be using this in my art journal next week, I want to paint some pieces that kind of coordinate with it. So let's take some more of that yellow and let's do some on that circle, some on this piece, right? Let's get some of that orange activated again. So the thing that happens when you use any kind of art medium, whether it's Crayola or, like I said, whether it's Schminke or Daniel Smith, whatever. I'm speaking of watercolors right now. No matter what you use, you have to get to know it. And the way you get to know it is by using it and using it and using it. Because as you use it repeatedly, you'll start to see like, oh, if I print on cardstock, I get this result. If I print on watercolor paper, I get that result. If I print on copy paper, I get this result, right? If I use Crayola watercolors, I get this result. If I use Prima waters, I get this result, right? So, and the way that you get to know it is just like how you get to know a new friend. The more time you spend with it, right? So, just whatever supplies you have, I just ask you to get to know them. I promise you'll be so happy. You'll be so happy. Let's see. So I want to let those dry until I kind of figure where I want to go next. I'm feeling like the center of this flower, I feel like I want it to be like turquoise. And this turquoise here, oh, it just does have a lot of water in there. Okay. So I'm going to take my brush, and remember you're going to work that water into your pan of color. And just know you can treat these just like any other watercolors, that if you want a way more watery wash, you're going to take a little bit of that paint and put it over here. This lid is what I'm going to use as my palette this morning. And I'm going to just add some more water to that, maybe a little bit more. And then I'm just going to mix that up. And I'm going to kind of fill in right there. And then we're just going to let that sit and see where we go. Okay, we have the leaf to do. So let's take some of this lighter green, the same thing. We're going to work that water into our paint. And I'm just kind of jiggy-jaggy adding it, just kind of really light and organically. Then let's take some of this deeper green, but I don't want a lot, so I'm tapping off the edge. I'm working the water into my paint, right? And then I'm gonna work, like just pull some of that off, and then the places where I know it's gonna be deeper color, right? Right here where the flower is lying on top, we know that's gonna be a little bit deeper. And then we know that like down that main vein, down these veins, we can pull little bits more of color, right? And if you're feeling like the blue, just like any watercolor, like that blue is feeling really stark to me. So I'm gonna come back in with my paper towel, tap that off. That's looking way more the way I want it to be. Oops, stuck my finger right in there. So let's move that around. Okay, so now let's move on to another flower. So good morning, everyone. We are painting my card candy art printable this morning with Crayola washable children's watercolors. So I want to share with you that you can create with whatever supplies you have. Everybody take a drink. Let's do this one in blues and purples. What do you think? Maybe blues and purples and pink. That might be pretty. So let's mix the water up in this pinky color. So let's add a little bit more water. Good morning, Maddie. Good morning, Debbie. How are you this morning? So nice to see everyone. Let's do this blue. We haven't used this blue just yet. And I know it looks pretty stark right now, those colors together. But then let's do that blend where we clean off our brush, rinse it off, come back in with just a wet brush. And then good morning, Tam. And then let's move those colors together a little bit. Let's see where we go. We should get kind of a purpley. Let's pull that out, just bits by bits. Morning, Tam. Come back in with that wet brush. So you see that no matter that these are Crayolas, they still have, look at, if we go right over that red, look at that beautiful purple that arrives. It's still pretty, we still have some pretty decent pigment, right, from these colors. They are Crayolas. I just love them. The watercolor, excuse me, the washable watercolors. Those are my favorite. Well, they're not my favorite. You know what? I'm just going to say, look, just color in general is my favorite. Okay, so I'm just mixing right on my substrate to get like my own unique color, right, that cannot be replicated. Right, so I'm just bringing more and more of that deeper blue over here along the places where I know it's going to be darker, right? So on these areas that I've already drawn stippling, we know that the color will be deeper there because it's a little bit recessed, right? So we're just gonna kind of work that in, work that in. And now we can do that trick where we tap it off. See where we've got, what we've got underneath there. Look at that. Oh, shut up. Doesn't it seem like we should be able to make something with that? I love that. Okay, so now we have this funny color that's kind of all our own, right? So I'm gonna come back in with that wet brush. Just kind of soften some of those edges. I just love it. Right, so let's see. I want to test some of these colors. So I have this kind of a red violet that I'm playing with over here. So let's paint some of that so we know what that is, right? Because I didn't make a swatch chart with these Crayolas, which I totally should have. Okay, now I have like a blue violet up here. Let's pull that over here. See the difference? Crazy, right? So I'm gonna grab some water on my brush and I'm gonna fiddle around with that just a little bit. See what I can do. So I'm just getting some of this color on there and I want it to sit just a little bit. And I'm getting little bits of it down here at the base where the petals hit the center of the flower, because that we know that that's a little bit darker. So I'm going to let this soak in just a little bit and I'm going to do that tap off thing again. I just really love that. That's a fun way to build color, right? So what if we come in with some of this, the red violet, and see what happens if we start to build that. There we go. So let that soak in just a little bit. Good morning, Denise Harding. How are you this morning? So let's let that soak in just a little bit. Let's tap off. I did that pretty quickly. Let's try again. Tap off. There we go. And now let's come in with our wet brush. Tap, tap, tap. And then do our jiggy jaggy blend. And look at that. We have colors that nobody else could imagine. Look at that. So beautiful. Right? So I'm going to come dip my brush in my water, tap it off on my paper towel, and then come in and do that jiggy jaggy blend. This is just kind of a fun way to build. Remember, we've talked before about building form, but in a really organic way, right? So I think I want to build just a bit more. That I really like this red violet. So I feel like I just want to, little by little, build that. So pretty. This color is almost like luminescent. So pretty. Rinse, rinse, rinse. I'm going to build that just a little bit more. So I hope you are painting along with me. I hope you're painting these images so that we can art journal with them next week. We can card build with them next week. All kinds of fun things. This morning I thought, you know what? I just want to paint. Like I was just feeling this morning. I feel like card building and painting take two different parts of my brain, you know? Two different parts of my creative place. And so this morning I was just feeling like this was the part of my creative brain I needed to use. Look at those purples and blues together, or those different purples. The blue violet and the blue violet and the red violet, so beautiful. So let's build a little bit more of that blue violet. Since we've worked a lot with the red violet, let's come in with that blue violet. And then I like that I have that base of turquoise, so I really want to play that up some more too. I'm really digging that, so let's get some of that going. Right, so that's just kind of there. Just little by little. And then remember that we can just do the tap off, because this is looking really janky right now, I know, but we'll just keep building it. I'm telling you, things have to be so horrendous for me to throw them away. They really do. Because I just feel like everything can be saved in some kind of way, right? Rinse my brush. Now I'm going to come back in with my paper towel. And let's do this tab first. Yep. And then this little circle, that little disc piece right there. And then let's do the flower. And now we can come in with our water brush, right? So we're going to rinse our brush, tap off the excess, tap it onto the paper towel, and then let's do that jiggy jaggy blend. Just continue to build that jiggy jaggy blend. These are all colors that work so nicely together. If you have too much pigment on your brush, just wipe it off on your paper towel. There we go. Look at that. So pretty. Tap, tap, tap. Jiggy jaggy blend. Okay, let's do some jiggy jaggy blending on these pieces down here. And then this disc. And I like to kind of just leave it wet sometimes to see what happens. Like this one, I'm feeling like I need to tap off a little bit more. I'm just getting too much color, like separation. Look at that, magic. Like the more you leave water on it, then color will will be removed, right? So let's do some flicking of watered spots. See what happens. These are both pretty. Maybe we'll get some nice color blooms. I love those watercolor blooms, don't you? Where it just kind of where it just kind of, wow, beautiful. Let's see where we are. All right. I kind of want to let that, this is looking so pretty, isn't it? I'm loving those little blooms that are happening. So this is still pretty. We've got lots of wet puddles of color. So let's, and I'm kind of digging that. I want to see where that goes. So we need to do this leaf. Oh, everybody take a drink. Let's do this leaf. What other colors do I have here? Well, I have this deeper green. So let's mix the water into that. And then I want to test it down here on my watercolor paper. Always test it if you can on whatever's similar to what you are paint. Do you know what I mean? I'm painting on my watercolor paper. If I was painting on copy paper, I would want to test on copy paper because that's what's going to that's what you're painting on, right? So this green is kind of, I want to move that around a little bit. That looks like it's gonna fit nicely, doesn't it? But I feel like I want it to be a watery wash first. So I'm gonna, again, come over here on the palette, add some water so I get a real watery wash. And then just want to get a base of color down there. Good morning, Gail. How are you today? We are painting my Card Candy 2 art printable with Crayola washable watercolors this morning. They're a children's watercolor set, and they have brilliant colors. So I wanted to share with you that you can paint with whatever you've got. Move that color just a little bit. Kind of digging that. So now this water's been sitting on there for quite a while. Let's tap those off. See what we have underneath. Stop! Look at that. So beautiful. So beautiful. So now let's talk about these orangey yellow flowers a little bit. Let's tap them off, see what happens. Okay. That color's been sitting on there for quite a while, so it's not going to tap off as easily. But I'm feeling like I might want to do some of the watercolor dot things again, but I'm also feeling like I want to splatter with some of the cut, like pure color right from the pan. I just think that might give us some more visual interest, you know. So let's do the, I don't know how it's gonna work because these petals aren't as deeply colored. There's not as saturated with color as the purple and blue was, but let's just see where we go. Let's do the leaf too, see what happens. So, how is everyone today? Are you painting with me? Let me know. I would love to know. That's for sure. I do have visions of how I want to put these in my art journal next week. So, I hope that you're kind of considering that too. I do also have these, the Dymo, the stars and the hearts. I'm feeling like I might really want to put those in my art journal also because that's a dark element on our art journal page that could be really cool. But I'm also feeling like I think I might want to print it off, print this off again on just copy paper, see how that turns out. Like see how those pieces come out, right? It's okay to just paint for the sake of painting and then fussy cut those if you'd like, and then just keep those in an envelope for card fodder, for collage fodder, for art journaling fodder. It's okay. It's okay. Sometimes we just need to paint, and that's what I was feeling this morning. So I'm going to tap this off because I think I see some nice stuff happening. Shut up! Look at that. Oh my gosh, I'm totally, oh, I forgot to do the leaf. I did get some good stuff on the leaf though too. Look at that. That's pretty. Let's do something, let's do that same thing on the center of that flower. Okay, now I'm realizing we need to do something in the center of this flower. I know, Denise. I know. Everybody take a drink. But that's the beauty of this, right? You can watch it on replay anytime. I mean, I love that you've come to visit with me this morning. I do love that. Okay, let's see. Oh, so I was thinking about, remember we did the base of this flower in turquoise. Kind of digging that. I'm kind of digging, I don't know. I could do a deep color in the center of this, or we could do something opposite on the color wheel. So like this, I did opposite on the color wheel because opposite of blues and purples is yellows and oranges, right? If we're going to be kind of free with our interpretation of the color wheel, right? So what if we did something like that here? Because we did something, we did blue next to the yellow, right? Which blue's opposite on the color wheel is actually orange. And so what if we did, so here we have this pinky purple. Opposite on the color wheel for purple is yellow, right? So what if we did this kind of an orangey, but we used this orangey right here? I'm thinking that might be kind of cool. So we'll just get some of that color down, let that sit a little bit, and then we can come back and tap that off in a little bit. We'll let that kind of soak into the paper. So let's turn. Now we're going to come back and tap this off, see what happens. Because remember we had gotten some water on there. There, I've got some nice drops there. And that just, for me, the water splotches gives me more highs and lows. And I love the highs and lows. I love that. I love it. I can't even tell you how much I love it. So now I think I want to do it with these auxiliary pieces too. Just get a little bit. Doesn't have to be a lot. See what happens, right? Because I like some big water drops and some little water drops. Good morning, Michelle. How are you? We are painting this morning on the Card Candy 2 art printable with Crayola washable watercolors. They are about $5, I think. I think is what I paid for them. If you in the future, the best time to buy them is back to school time, right? Everything's less expensive during back to school time, supply wise. So let's tap off this yellow to see what we have underneath. Okay, it really feels too bright to me. So what can I do to make that work, to make it what I want it to be? Well, I want it to be a little more orangey, I think. So I'm going to come back with a little bit more of this same kind of a, it's quite an orangey yellow here. But look at, when I pull it off, it looks very lemony yellow, doesn't it? So let's build up the outsides here. Let that sit for a while. What else do I have going on here? Oh, I have this one that I can tap off. Look at that! Oh, magic. Magic! This is, I'm telling you, this is exactly what I needed this morning. I just needed to paint for the sake of painting. Those are lovely. Lovely, lovely. Bits and bobs. These, I think I'm not going to paint inside. I think I want it to remain the way it is. Do you know what I mean? The black and white, because that's always such a nice contrast. But I was thinking about this. So this orange here is so deep. I'll work my water into my paint here. I'm going to pull it off over here, add some water. Oops, can you see that? I'm using this orange here. And now I want to add a little bit more depth. There we go. Not too much, and I don't want to cover up my beautiful deep water splotches that I have. I just want to deepen it just a little bit. Remember, we've talked about in art, we want to really concentrate on contrast, color, and space. The push and pull of darks and lights. That is what I believe great art is all about. The just the contrast and the to elevate things with darks and lights. See this? I think this is just freaking magic to me. Just magic. I just love it. Little bits and pieces of darks and lights. And the more we build it, right? Let's rinse, rinse, rinse. Let's get a little bit of that deeper orange into the center of this flower here. Let's just take some of that and then move that here. And do you see, by doing that, look at, we have a nicer transition from this yellow, this bright yellow, to the violet red, to the turquoise, to the blue violet. our transition is a little smoother that way. Okay. I think I might want just a little bit more. A little bit more of that deeper orange on there. And then we need to let that just kind of soak in. And I'm just kind of carefully adding it around the water drops as I can, because that's going to create a deeper contrast between the white of the water, or the light of the water drop, and the dark of the color. So we're just going to build just a little bit more contrast, but really quite watery. Like we just have a nice watery wash going, right? We're going to let that dry, and then we'll tap it off again, build and build and build and build and build. Okay. This one, because we did our water spots so differently, I put the water on wet surface, right? So we got those blooms, and we let it sit for longer. It's different. But what if we do water spots on top of that? See what happens, right? Then we'll have two different kinds. Shut up! What could be wrong with that? Not much. Okay, this one I feel like we need to build a little bit more. That is really blue. But we can, just little by little, build that up, right? Let's get some of that red violet, a little watery. Build a little bit more. There we go. Build a little bit more. Do you see how by putting just that little bit next to those water spots, I mean, you have to be pretty careful with your brush, right? Use your steadiest hand and little tiny bits of color. Nothing too much. There we go. Let's get a little bit of that blue. Tap off. That feels like way too much. I want to just build around this. Look at that. Okay, let's flip this around. And I'm going to tap off all of these. Well, these two, because these were the first ones I did. Let's see if my thought process worked. Yes! That's kind of exactly where I wanted it to be. Oh, look how pretty that is. Okay, let's tap this one off. Yep, and then we can work that out. Let's tap this big flower off. See where that goes. Yes. Okay, let's see if I can find a clean spot on this paper towel to do this one. See what happens. Magic! I'm gonna pull that deeper orange. Yep, it's kind of where I wanted to go. Good morning, Sharon. How are you today? So I'm rinsing my brush, tap, tap, tap. Jiggy, jiggy blend. I do feel like I want to deepen that just a little bit more, so I'm going to take some more of that orange. Just work it into the edges. Rinse, tap with my water brush now and just start to pull, just ever so slightly pull that color toward the center. So we give a nice gradation. So pretty. This is just magic to me. That's for sure. Now let's take some more of this green and let's deepen down by the petals where the center and the petals meet, right? So let's start to deepen here. I'm just going to deepen bits and pieces. Right? Okay. Rinse my brush, tap, 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 tap. And now I want to do a little bit of that jiggy jaggy blend, but like quite gingerly here where my brush is barely touching my paper. Soften those edges just a little bit. Some of the edges I might want to leave, but some of them I might want to just soften it just ever so slightly. There we go. There we go. So pretty. This one I feel like I really want to soften some of these edges. There we go. So if you haven't already purchased this Card Candy 2 art printable, I would appreciate it if you did before our next art journaling pop-in paint party. Oh my god, this is so pretty. It's looking almost tie-dye-ish. I think I want to do another level of water splats on this one. Loving that. Okay, let's tap this off. Because we're going to incorporate this, we're going to be incorporating some of this into our art journals. I do not have any, isn't that crazy? I do not have any classes this weekend. I think I'm just going to watch football and paint. That's what my, I have a big deadline for Adorn It that I need to, I have 3 more states to draw. So I'm hoping to kick that out today. And then I have some Norwegian stamps to work on and some stamp designs to send to Unity. So I'm trying to finish up all of those deadlines before the weekend. Oh, I'm so glad. So you're doing okay, Vicky. I've sure been thinking about you. I've sure been thinking about you. So how much longer will you have to wear the patch? Well, that's the beauty, right? The beauty of these videos is that they're here for whenever you can watch them. You know, they are, they're just always here. Let's tap off this green. Kind of digging that. And I have, oh, thanks. You know what? I dig Unity stamps too. I dig them too, Denise. Oh, so you get it off this afternoon. That's so awesome. That's so awesome. Well, you can paint whenever you want. Once you're feeling up to it, Miss Vicky. There you go. There you go. And you can use any paints that you have, right? You just get to know their, I've got these little wet spots. Do you see these little circles kind of? So I'm coming in with my brush with just water on it, but tapped off water. And then I'm just kind of working that water into the center so I get a little bit, and then wiping off the excess pigment. So I'm kind of taking away color from the center so the circles kind of stand out a little bit more. Shut up, how cute is that? Let's do it down here, a bigger one. Maybe you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just coming in with my wet brush and then I'm tapping it off until it's just damp. Then I'm going to come in with that damp brush and work that water into the center, right, of that lighter bit. Then I can tap it off. There we go. So do you see how that's creating these nice little pockets of contrast? I love that. Oh, that one's a pretty one. So start to think of it, concentrate on just like one little bit, right? Don't let it be overwhelming. Let it be, well, just let it be. You know what I mean? Just kind of work on little bits and pieces. Oh my gosh, look at that. So pretty. Let those dry. So let's come back over here. I'm going to come in with my, good morning, Brenda, damp brush. And I'm going to come do my Jiggy Jaggy blend. I'm going to be a little bit careful this time. I know. That's so funny. They are on my playlist. I walked down the aisle to Imagine. Well, no, I didn't. I walked down the aisle to Louis Armstrong's What a Wonderful World. But we did, Imagine was one of our songs during our wedding ceremony. I just love the Beatles. And what was the other song? I was just listening to a Beatles playlist I have the other day that can really kind of get me going, you know? Okay. I'm going to splat this one last time. See where I'm going. How am I doing on time, you guys? I haven't even looked. Everybody take a drink. Want a little bit more water splot up there. Because it's so dark, and I'm thinking down here too. See if I can do it in a controlled way. Thanks, Tam. Sip, sip, hooray. Exactly. Exactly. I've got to finish this dang bottle of water before the end of this class. And I have what? 7 minutes. Oh, that was a loud swallow. Sorry about that. I do feel like I remember I was talking about how I want to, I wanted to splatter with some of the color. So I'm just going to take this note that I wrote about who knows what and use it as a little bit of a mask. maybe, let's see if I can do it this way. I could do these 3 pieces for sure, right? I could do splatter on them, because there's not much else going on, right? It's not like the flower where there's, the center is one color and the, so I wouldn't need to use a mask. So let's come in. I mean, it's all a crapshoot, isn't it? Who knows what'll happen? But I just had this idea in my head, so I'm going to put this on here. And now I just have some of that deeper orange and a little bit more water in there. Work that water into that paint. And then just stop it. You guys. It's looking so pretty. Now I really want to do this flower. So let's snip that. Okay, but this one, I kind of need a little bit of a mask. So I'm going to use, are you ready? The lid to my water bottle. And then this hunk of paper. Let's see if I can, there. I know, crazy. And then let's come in with some of that orange. Oh, you guys, look at that. Let's get a little bit more. That is stinking magic. Stop it. Oh my gosh. That is so exactly what I wanted it to be. I can't even describe my glee. Oh, let's take another drink, Denise. Hey, Beth, how are you? Michelle, I swear, now I gotta listen to the Beatles this afternoon. Or, this morning. Let's cut this. Right, and let's do the same thing with our blues and purples. Let's find another dirty paper towel that we can use as a mat. Okay, let's, I'm gonna tap off. Remember I wanted some little, lighter. Oh, shut up! Look how pretty that is. And I'm digging that. Okay, and I have this one too. Remember? Okay, so let's do the same. Stop it right now. How cute is that? And then we can do this, right? So let's do that red, that red violet. I'm really digging that. And the crazy thing is, it's so different here, full strength. It's so dark. Okay, I've got that. Stop! Look how cute that is. There and there. I could just use my hand too to just kind of block from that leaf. Oh, you guys, look at that. The artsiness is about to kill me. Oh. You know what? We do have that. Jeff has Sirius radio in his car. And we do listen to that Beatles station. Our kid was a Beatles freak in high school and read like every single book, and And we went to see Paul McCartney in concert during that time. Can I tell you, that was a moment. Do you know when you have those moments in your life? That was a moment where I just kept thinking, oh my gosh, that's one of the Beatles. I'm listening to one of the Beatles. I'm looking right at one of the Beatles in person, not on TV. And then I found out that my Aunt Mer got to see the Beatles back in the day. Can you even imagine? Can you even imagine how amazing that must have been? Lovely. So now I think I'm going to let all these pieces dry. And then I'll fussy cut them later and put them in an envelope. And we will make something with them next week in our art journals. Don't even know where I'm going with that just yet, but it'll be fabulous. So I hope everybody has an amazing day. I hope that you, you know, I'm thinking I might do some white splatter in a little bit when all of this is dry. Just kind of brighten things up a little, like take it to another level and another level and another level. And I might paint these again and make some cards with them too, because I love them so much. I love them so much. I think I want to do some green splatters here. This green on here. This green on here. So pretty. Oh my gosh, I hope that you're all like just chomping at the bit to paint, because there's not a better way to start the day. I'm telling you. I don't think so. I adore you all, and I will see you on Tuesday with brand new artwork. We have a brand new art printable that I can hardly wait to share. I will be sending an email tomorrow, so be sure to open that for some funky goodness. Oh, I've started the Super Bowl interactive printable, but we got to see who wins this weekend, right? So we got to see who I need to draw. But I'm super excited that once again we get to kind of watch the Super Bowl together. Come on, how fun is that? We get to watch all the commercials and eat fun snacks and you know, just have the halftime show this year has Mary J. Blige. I love that girl. So that sounds like it's going to be amazing. And Snoop Dogg, who's always entertaining. So be sure to watch for the Super Bowl printable, the interactive art printable for next weekend. Excuse me, 2 weekends from now. The Super Bowl is on February 13th, I believe. Anyway, watch for that. Remember, the only place to get that is in the Let's Get Artsy with Anne private Facebook group. So if you want that printable, you're going to have to get it there. And maybe I'll put it on the website too. Because I can put it there. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Anyway, I adore you all. Have a tremendous Thursday. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.